Hi, welcome back to a new season of Knights HQ podcast brought to you by Maxwell Recruitment and Training. Highly skilled labour hire and real-world training for engineering, trades and construction to office administration. My name's Jay Nelson. I'm here with my co-host Matt Crokes. He might be the greatest bloke ever. I think it just has to be said. It has to be thrown out there. Look, I've spent enough time with you, I think, to have that call. Greatest bloke ever. Matt, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Just on our little friendship. So for those listening, it is only me and Jay today. We're going to do a different kind of episode today. We're going to review the preseason and we're going to preview the trials. But just for how are you, mate? You going well,
mate? I'm very well. Very well.
I've seen a little something. So for those that don't know, Jay has a company. What would you call the company? The name of it. It's Little Ruby.
Yeah.
But it's like a digital marketing.
It's like a media production thing.
Media production, yeah.
So like videography and photography and things like that.
So when Jay come into full time with the Knights, he sort of put that on hold a little bit. Mainly do weddings and stuff like that, event ceremonies. But you're back on, mate. Yeah.
We kind of, we're still sort of doing a few weddings here and there on the side.
Yeah.
Shout out to my lovely wife Sarah. She kind of deals with all that stuff now because I'm here full time. But it kind of got to the point where we've kind of got ourselves a little team of people that we sort of trust to do the work when I'm unavailable. So, we thought we might as well just put it out there, just saying, look, we're doing enough work now where it's all word of mouth. We might as well formally put something out there. Yeah. So, we're back doing a few wedding videos, a few different things.
Because a lot of people might have been listening to us over the last couple of months, but they haven't really... They might not know a lot about us because we're usually the interviewers rather than the interviewees. So the way me and Jay met was a couple of years ago. I had a podcast with one ex-Knights player, Connor Watson, and a current Knights player, Kalen Ponga. And Jay was a good friend of ours, and we asked if he would help film and edit them. So this was a couple of years ago now. And then Jay come to the club, and then we both sort of just got thrown into the role of, hey, do you guys want to host the Knights podcast? And we got pretty good chemistry, so we thought, stuff it, we may as well. Yeah. It's a good little side gig. We have a good time behind the mic. But mate, looking forward. Actually, let's look back for a second. The BMAC episode.
Yeah,
how good?
Oh, dude, like I said this to you after we finished. I literally forgot we were recording.
Yeah. It was like we were entrenched in the conversation. He can hold a room as good as anyone I've ever seen, I reckon.
Yeah. Like, there was a few times where I was, like, slouching over and, like, my mouth was open. And I'm like, oh, God, I got to make sure that we're filming here. I don't want to look like that.
Well, I sent you a screenshot from the video, and those who like watching podcasts as well as listening, you can jump on YouTube. We're on YouTube at the moment. But I sent you a screenshot from it. And B-Mac was telling a story, and me and you were like little kids sitting at a candy shop with our eyes massive and our mouths open. It was pretty impressive. So if you haven't heard it, go back and have a listen.
100.
But now looking forward, Jay, mate, we got our first trial of the year over the Central Coast against Cronulla Sharks. How excited are you for that?
Oh, man. Footy's back.
Yeah.
If you're a footy fan, this time of year is so good. Everyone's done the work, they've done the preseason stuff. As you know, Crokes, there's a lot of hard work that goes into you sort of November, December, January months. Even around here, you boys, the training regime has started to go into that sort of game style of preparation. And it's just exciting. You're really looking forward, and as you could probably say as well, Crokes, being a part of the playing group, you see the work that you guys put in, and seeing how you guys transfer that onto the field is always really exciting to see.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Pre-seasons get long, and they are really hard, and they're a grind and turning up day after day. And I think when people look from the outside in, they might not understand the amount of training that we do go through.
Yeah.
Sometimes people ask me mid-November, what have I been up to? I say nothing because I've been training. I'm at the Centre of Excellence 24/7 basically, and they go, oh, you guys train this time of year? I go, yeah, this is our most important time of the year. And I think people might just think, you might just turn up on Saturday, but I promise you it's not like that. There's months and months and hours and hours. There's days when we're in here from 6 in the morning till 6:30 at night, and then back here at 6 in the morning again. And that's why when trials come around, it is so exciting, because you've worked so hard with such a tight-knit group of boys, or men, I should say, and women are part of all areas of the staff. And once you come into the trials, it's just so enjoyable to and it can be daunting, but if you look at it on the flip side, it's just you're putting hours of work into one little moment, and it's such a good feeling. Unfortunately, personally, I can't play in the trials. I got suspended. I got sent off for 10 in the last 90 seconds of our season last year against the team we just so happened to verse in the trial this week. And I got hit with a grade 3 hip drop tackle, careless. So unfortunately I have to miss both trials, Sharks and Parramatta, and I have to miss the first 2 rounds of the season. So I won't be able to be out there with the boys, but I can tell you from a playing group perspective that everyone is so keen to get out there. We've got a pretty healthy squad. I think maybe 4 or 5 big names are missing, which is unfortunate. Well,
I was going to ask you, like, obviously for yourself, you're serving a suspension, but, from, obviously, you're in the playing group. So I guess this is literally from the horse's mouth, how are we looking? How you reckon we're looking going into that trial? I know we have a few little injuries here and there and some guys coming back a bit later, but, obviously that's what the trials are for, to get them out there, see how it is and kind of, it's not going onto your record, so you can kind of, see where we're at and go from there.
Well, look, trial matches, you don't need your superstars going out there playing 80 minutes.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, if you guys do get down to the trial match and you see someone who you're very excited to play, he might only play 20 minutes, that's a load management, okay? So, like, he's not going out there he doesn't have to go out there and flog himself.
Yeah, exactly right.
Save himself for round 1. But in terms of the squad, mate, very healthy. A really, really good crew of young fellas that I'm very excited to watch because they're very fit. They learn a lot. They come from winning sides in the Jersey Flag last year. A lot of those young boys that made it to the grand final unfortunately got beat by a field goal. But just a really good crop of young blokes, as well as a bunch of new blokes that I'm excited to see pull on the Knights jerseys for the first time. And if you haven't got your tickets, make sure you get down there and head down to the Central Coast because it's going to be a really good day. We're coming up against a pretty quality side, who they finished pretty high last year. And
well, they finished. What did the Sharks finish last year? Second,
they finished second.
Eels made the GF. So,
exactly.
2 good sides.
So two very good sides. There's also a new point system.
Yeah, what do you make of that?
I'm not fully across it.
Does anyone really have that in their mind at all? Is it just go out to play footy and that's like a nice thing on the side if it happens, or do you think anyone's actually going to think about it?
Well, like I said before, Jay, you're not throwing your superstars out there to go into a grueling 80-minute match.
Yeah.
So there might be times there where you have blokes with less experience and younger fellas. So look, I'm not fully across the rules. I think it might be. I think the max you can get is like 15 points in a game. I think you get 5 or something for. I'm not too sure. You get certain points for line breaks and stuff like that. But I'm not fully across it, mate. But like I said, I can't play on the trial, so my focus at the moment is
get back on the field.
Is just getting as fit as I possibly can just before round 3 comes around, so that. Yeah. When I do come back in the side, whether that be New South Wales Cup or first grade, I bring the boys a lot of energy.
Mate, going into that, from a fan's perspective, I've always heard this from players, and this is in, NRL, NBA, NFL, you name it, whatever sport, high, the elite. They always say you can't possibly prepare for a game. A game is just always going to be different. You can be as fit as what you want to be, all that sort of stuff. But until you're in a game situation, that's where it really sort of, all the work that you've done will sort of come out. Because you have to take those first 2 rounds out and the trials, is there anything you've done particularly to kind of make sure that when that round 3 team, if you're named, you're ready to go? And as soon as you hit that field, even though it is a different situation, everything that you've done is going to help you sort of hit that ground running. And because the other boys have had 2 games, you know what I mean? And you're straight in.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, Jay, because trials are also a really good way to get your match fit.
Yeah.
And they get you out onto the paddock against blokes that you haven't been training against. And it's a different kind of fitness. Now, you can be as fit as you want during pre-season, but I promise you, once you come into the game,
it's hectic.
It's a different kind of fitness. So my sort of goal over the last couple of weeks and moving forward for the next sort of 4 or 5 weeks is to get as match fit as I can, but also be the best teammate I can. So prepare my teammates for their next 2 trials and then their first 2 rounds as best as I possibly can. And that means getting details right, being a good offensive player when the boys have a defensive day, and then vice versa, being a good defensive player when the boys have an offensive day. Because eventually that just makes the team better. If I do my job as best as I can. And then, I don't have to be fresh for the weekend. So if I need to do extra reps rather than rather than one of our middles, say, having to do extra reps, who's playing on the weekend, well, then I'll take his load. That way he is fresh for the weekend because, I'm not playing on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah.
So at the end of the day, I can do as much as I need to maybe help another player. Now, I think Jimmy, have you got, I think he's got the scoring system.
Yeah, boys, I've got the point system here for you. So 2 games, 12 points for a win. 12
points.
6 points for a draw. The maximum you can get is 15 points. So the bonus points are 5+ tries as a point, 5+ line breaks is the point, and 10+ offloads is the point.
Right.
And the winner gets 100K in prize money at the end of it.
Yeah, right. So it's the winner over 2 rounds. Yeah. So
and do you get those points if win or lose, like offloads and all that sort of stuff?
Correct. So you can still get 3 points if you lose.
Okay.
Oh, so you get 3 for a loss?
Well,
no. Well, if you
bonus points.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Right.
And whoever's got the most points at the end of the 2 trial games for each club gets 100K.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Well, there you go. Bit of money involved, though.
Yeah.
Money makes the world go round, as they say.
Hey, mate, talking about and thanks for letting us know about them, mate. What a team, mate. If that's the way you're looking at it, man. I'd love to play next year. That'd be awesome. Look, we did sign Lockie Miller last week. He's here to add to our spine attack. Once sort of K comes back, it's looking like we'll have Brails, K, Jacko, and Lockie in the spine. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, mate, he's been...
And how's he been around training so far?
He's been a really good addition. Now, he's an older head than what I thought. When we first signed him, I actually thought he was sort of similar to my age, 23, 24, but I looked into it. He's a little bit older. I think he might be 27, around that 28 mark. He's played rugby sevens. So an older head, bringing an older head into a spine is really good. It brings a lot more confidence and a bit more sternier about what he thinks. Look, he's a very vocal bloke. He seems very fit. He's always bouncing around on the field. Very loud, which is good from your fullback because he instructs you where to go in defence. He's always there and abouts around the footy, which is good. His support play is excellent, but he's fit in really well. He's come in. He's not shy. He speaks a lot. I think something that we sort of picked up on early on was by day 2 or the end of day 1, Lockie had memorised every single person's name in the whole squad.
Yeah, wow.
It was I don't know if he researched it before he come here or if he's just a footy nerd.
Yeah.
But little details like that, I think they matter a lot.
100. And that's just, man, I'm terrible with names.
Yeah.
Someone introduces, and I'm like, it's gone.
Blank. Yeah. But just the way, he was speaking in videos and he was mentioning young boys' names and just off the dome. It was very impressive because it shows that
he cares.
This bloke cares about the club and he cares about us going well. And it's really good to have him. He's going to strengthen up our spine and I'm excited to see Lockie go because I remember his debut for the Sharks. I think it might have been up there. Might have been against the Titans. Could even have been Magic Round, I think.
Yeah.
And mate, he brained him. It was unbelievable. I think he ran for 250 metres.
Well, I was going to say, this day and age, your backs being able to get run meters out of your own end is so hectic, and he's so quick. And he's so low to the ground and strong that, I think that'll be a real asset for us, coming out of our own end. Yeah,
well, he's got that rugby sort of build, a bit more stockier, big sort of trunk, that kind of thing. And, he'll go really well from it. I'm very excited to see that.
Awesome.
Oh, Jay, actually, I wonder why you wanted to dodge this question. We spoke about sort of our roles away from the nights and the podcast and how we knew each other beforehand. But something people might not know is you're a drummer. And you're not just any mosey drummer down the pub, mate. You are a backup drummer. Are you backup or are you first string? But don't be humble. This is no place for humility.
Look, if I'm available to do what I need to do, I will probably get the call up. Yeah.
So Jay is first string drummer for the Wiggles, an ARIA award-winning drummer for the Wiggles. Now, you played at Falls?
Yeah. And don't look, this mosey drummer down the pub, that's literally what I am. I just get to play with them, which is lovely.
Mate. How'd you get into that?
Dude,
because you kept this a secret for the first 2 years of our friendship, bro.
Well, because we're doing the media stuff now, I was like, I want to build the rapport and the respect on what I'm sort of doing around the place rather than that stuff. But not that I'm not super proud of it. It's great to be able to do that. But I actually started with them in 2011, 12-ish, doing the merch.
Yeah, right.
So I was just gigging around Newcastle and just kind of doing my thing. And I met a good friend of mine. She's still a great friend of mine, Claire. She's a part of the Wiggles family. and she sort of said, "Hey, we need a merch guy. Do you want to come on tour and, you know, sell shirts at the shows and stuff?" And I had nothing holding me down in Newcastle, so I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." So I did a few tours, just, you know, doing merch and things like that. And then I remember one day they were in the studio doing some, they were recording an album or doing something, and they needed some drum tracks, and sort of someone poked their head, and I said, "I'm pretty sure Jay plays drums." And they're like, "Hey, do you play?" I'm like, yeah, I play drums.
I dabble.
Yeah. And then I jumped in and played, and it all sort of happened from there. And yeah, so I kind of took a little break from like sort of 16, 17, 18, 19-ish. That's sort of when I started the media brand and stuff like that. And then since I've come and worked full-time for the Knights, I've kind of been able to sort of slot in some gigs and some recording sessions here and there. So yeah, no, it's...
What's the favourite gig you've performed at? Is it a solo show or is it more a festival?
Well, we did Falls this year, which was pretty crazy.
What was your time slot on what day?
Well, it changed because every festival, like Melbourne and Byron, were pretty close with timings and what they did.
Yep.
But Perth was a little bit different because they had different acts for that festival. But yeah, pretty much we were sort of like middle of like late afternoon, sort of coming from day into night, sort of 5 or 6-ish o'clock sort of thing.
So we're going to jump into a little segment. It's called Three Goats with Crokes. I always stuff that up. Yeah. And this week is our top 3 favourite sporting films of all time. So we'll start at our third. JJ, you can go third. First, sorry.
I'm going to, at the 3, I'm going to put, it's a sleeper in my mind, Draft Day. It stars Kevin Costner. It's about a... he's the GM of the Cleveland Browns, and it's about his journey. Like, their team's not going well, and he has to like draft the right players and get them back on track. And there's a few different subplots, but one that's not really that popular. You know, not what a go-to sport movie. I suggest everyone go watch it. Draft Day.
Heavy Kevin Costner, your list, isn't it?
There's a dual Costner in mine.
double cost.
I don't know if I like the movies or I just like him, but at the moment, we've got double Costner in my list.
Love it. So I'm gonna, my number 3 on my list is a movie called The Fighter. Now it's a movie based on a true story of Mickey Ward and his older half brother. I think it might be Dickie Eglin, and it was based on a true story. And Dickie, the older brother, was a boxer who fought Sugar Ray Leonard, who sadly turned into a drug addict.
Yeah.
But then he coaches his younger brother, Mickey Ward, and it stars Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale. And when I think of movies, I think of really good scenes.
Yeah.
And I know this sounds a bit corny, but there's a scene, and there's a song by Whitesnake, "Here I Go Again."
Yeah.
And there's a line, "As a drifter, I was born to walk alone."
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil the movie, but Dickie does a full circle of his life through drugs and coaching his brother and in and out of jail and stuff like that. And just before Mickey's about to fight, he sort of holds his brother's head to head, and the song's on in the background as he's about to walk out, and he just sort of whispers, you know, "As a drifter, I was born to walk alone." And it's a really, really good scene. Really incredible performance by both actors. Yeah, I love that movie, so go check it out.
Yeah, nice. My number 2, I think we're on, is actually my dad's influence. It's close to being my dad's favourite movie, Field of Dreams. That's the second Costner.
Double cost.
So,
back-to-back costs.
Back-to-back. It's a pretty famous movie, but if you haven't seen it, without giving too much away, basically it's about a guy who builds a baseball field, and it's based on a true story. He builds a baseball field out of his corn crop and it almost sends him broke. And he builds it because he hears a voice saying, "Do it." You know, the famous thing is, if you build it, it will come. They will come.
They will come.
So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I think it came out in it's like late 80s, early 90s, so it's been around for a while. But definitely check it out.
Mine is a slept-on sports movie, I believe, and that's Goal.
I love the sleepers.
Yeah, I love the
ones
sleepers.
you don't know anything about, and you watch it, it's like, how good is this?
Love the sleepers because sometimes the main ones, they're a bit corny, if you know what I mean. Whereas Goal, just an incredible movie, bit of a tearjerker. Once again, there's scenes that.
So this one's called Goal.
This one is just called Goal. It's a soccer movie about a young fellow who moves over to Europe, and he's just in a completely different environment, and makes it in the European League. It's really good. There's a sequel, and then there's a third, a trilogy, and they sort of get a bit more rank as they go on. So do as you please, but the first one's a really good film.
My number 1. I think I've got to give it to Moneyball.
Yeah, it's a
I
really
love
good
Moneyball,
one.
man. It's so good. And like, I love, as you said, like some movies get Hollywoodized and like at the end the hero always wins and all that sort of stuff.
It's funny you say that because I've picked a pretty Hollywood one to finish, to be honest.
But you know what I mean? Like
I
with
do.
Moneyball, like the ending, without giving it away, like, you know, it isn't the old, you know, everyone's happy and, you know, it's a really fairy tale ending. And the fact that it's based on a true story, the fact that it's based around looking at something differently to how it's been done for the whole duration of the sport, you know, that would have ruffled a lot of feathers. It would, you know, but to see that sort of, obviously it is a Hollywood movie, so there would have been some artistic sort of additions there. But all in all, Moneyball is definitely my goat.
And number one, as I said, I might have picked a bit of a cliche film. But as a young Matty Crokes, when he was about 13 years old, every night before his game of footy on a Saturday, he would watch Remember the Titans.
Yes.
Just can't go wrong. Denzel. There's a young Ryan Gosling in that movie, actually.
Yeah. Is he the kicker?
No, I think he might be one of the running backs. Can't even remember now.
Yeah.
But he's a bit of like a quiet role.
Yeah.
Just a really, really good film. If you haven't seen it, you've been living under a rock. So.
I put out a thing on Instagram, and thanks to everyone that sort of told us what their favourite movies were. Actually, we got some here. Jimmy, go.
Yeah, we put out to our Instagram story to send in a few films. So Lawsy17 writes in Rocky 4.
Oh, that is. You've seen Rocky 4, right?
I think so.
Drago?
They all Drago.
Yeah, that's hectic.
That's
Yeah. That's
So what would be your all-time Rocky movie?
4 is the best.
Yeah,
and then
probably 4.
and then 3.
3's with Creed.
Clubber Lang. Yeah. No,
Clubber
3
Lang.
is Mr. T. That's a good one.
So 2 is with
2 is when he beats Apollo Creed.
Yeah, sweet.
1 is where he loses the first time.
Yeah.
Like 1 is the classic.
1's the classic.
1 is the classic. But like
chasing chickens and
yeah.
shit like that.
But to like peak at the 4th, that's hard to do.
That's hard to do, yeah.
Normally it's at the downfall,
That's
know?
Harry Potter levels, you know what I mean?
There was a 5th and 6th, or maybe even a 7th as well.
Oh, there's now like
now there's like
now
three,
Michael
yeah.
was
There's
it Michael
three.
B. Jordan's
Yeah.
Apollo's son? Yeah, there's heaps
There's
of
3 Creeds now too.
Yeah, but yeah,
Lewis Cadwell writes in goal.
yeah.
Good man.
Noah Clayton 08. Coach Carter.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
Samuel
good one.
Jackson.
That is a
Samuel
good.
Jackson,
That's a
Channing Tatum.
that's a Remember Titans-esque
Yeah.
basketball version. Yeah.
And Ella Ball writes in another NFL one, We Are Marshall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Matthew
there's a
McConaughey.
great scene.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, there's a great scene in We Are Marshall. He's trying to recruit a coach.
Yeah.
Anyway, the coach is he's building a little shack with these like wooden boards, right? I'll probably get this wrong a little bit, but he asks what are the measurements, and he goes like 5 by 10, and he goes nah, they're 6 by 4s or something. Anyway, he offers him the assistant coaching job, and he goes, look, it's less pressure. You got to watch the scene. I'll probably muck it up, but he keeps going like more money, less pressure. Yeah, less work, more rewards, stuff like that. Anyway, Matthew McConaughey, as he does in his voice, he goes to leave. He goes 6 by 4s, eh? Less boards, more coverage, and walks away. It's just a really, and he just ties the whole scene together.
nice.
Really, really good film. Yeah, really good
And
film.
look, we had some because these are all really dramatic movies we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I had some Happy Gilmores, which honourable mention.
Blades of Glory.
Yeah, Blades of Glory. Honourable mentions, 100%. Well, that's going to do us, I think. Oh, no.
No, we'll take a quick
Tune of the week. Go, Crokes.
Well, mate, in spite of the Red Hot Chili Peppers being in Australia, unfortunately I didn't get to go, but I mean, my younger brother went and he said it was really, really enjoyable. I've gone my favourite track by them, which is By the Way. So, By the Way by
classic.
the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Once again, if you don't know that, you've been living under a rock.
Actually, that has given me a perfect prompt. So the support act for the Chili Peppers is Post Malone.
Oh, beautiful.
He's all over TikTok and stuff at the moment. He's been doing a great job. The people that went there said he was awesome. Candy Paint came on a TikTok, and I was like, I remember. How good is that song?
Yeah.
Because that's not on his albums. Hey, it's from like a Fast and the Furious soundtrack or something like that. Yeah. So I was like, I remember that song. So I'm going to say Tune of the Week, Candy Paint, Post Malone. Bit old, doesn't matter, still a tune.
There you go. So different little podcast this week, just me and Jay. No guests. A little bit of a preview, bit of a review, bit of a
This
dive
might be the
into our
first and
lives.
last version of this.
But we hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, no worries. Well, hey, look, thanks for being here.
No, thank you.
My man. You can subscribe and leave a review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post full videos of all these podcasts. You know, hit those bells, subscribe. Every time you get a video, you'll be notified about when we upload things. There's plenty happening around Knights HQ, and the best way to stay up to date with that is on the club's website, and also follow on our social media channels at NRL Knights. We'd also like to thank Maxwell Recruitment and Training for this episode of the pod. They're our sponsor. They're the reason we're here. Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
See you next week, Jay.